tap, tap, and send. It's okay. Go. Let me speak to my people. Now, let me speak to you. I know the stress people go through when they want to send money from abroad to their family members and loved ones in Ghana and even Africa. See, if you are in the USA, if you are in London, UK, Canada, Europe, any part of the world, see, Tap Send has made it very easy. All you have to do is to tap and send. Within a twinkle of an eye, your money will be sent with no stress. It's very fast, convenient, and easy to access everywhere. What are you waiting for? Just tap, and send. Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Good evening, Your Excellency, our distinguished panel of speakers, and to our listeners across the globe. My name is Owusu-Ankomah, and I am the Executive Director of the UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce. I will be your moderator tonight. We had previously advertised that our UK board member, Linda Wayo, was going to moderate this webinar, but unfortunately she's indisposed. And so I have had to step into the role on her behalf. Today marks the first in a 4-part series of webinars that we have titled In Conversation with Papa Owusu-Ankomah, Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK and the Republic of Ireland, and so patron of the UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce. I'm very excited to be hosting him tonight, and together with the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, who is representing the CEO, who's unfortunately unavailable because he's traveling. We also have Korea Doju, who is the founder of Egality Law. He's a legal practitioner licensed to practice in both the UK and Ghana, and who represents a number of corporate clients who operate within the free zones enclaves in Ghana, and who will be speaking on behalf of his clients and also on his own behalf regarding his experiences in Ghana. Today's topic, obviously, is a very important one for us at the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, because our mandate is to promote bilateral trade between Ghana and the UK. And so investment laws are critical to the success of our work and to the member companies we engage with, and to the potential investors from the UK to Ghana who engage our services. Without further ado, I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves, say a little bit about their organizations, and speak to the general topic of the Free Zones Authority, the opportunities it presents, and the challenges that come up, and how to address them, or how they're going to help potential investors address them. My first speaker would be His Excellency, the Ghana High Commissioner to the UK, Papa Owusu-Ankomah.
Thank you very much, Ajoba, and a good evening to all who are listening into this webinar. Well, of course, I'm the High Commissioner of Ghana to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, with concurrent accreditation to Ireland. I've been High Commissioner since June 2017, ended my first tour of duty at the end of 2020, and began my second tour of duty in June 2021. At the High Commission, one of our principal duties is to promote trade and investment between the United Kingdom and Ghana. So I would suppose that if someone wants to invest in Ghana, in the UK, the High Commission will be the first point of call. We have a trade section with an officer in charge who will, as it were, answer all questions relating to investment license in Ghana. You know, the free zone concept was a concept introduced some over 20 years ago, I believe, as a form of attracting special export-oriented investment into Ghana. I'll leave that to the one represent free zones, who technically is on top of the subject. But let's say that for us in the High Commission, ours is a facilitatory role, issuing visas for business people, where investors particularly have challenges. We are there to try and untie the knots that they may face. And of course, we are there to not only listen to your frustrations, but try and let your frustrations go away. And even in the broader terms, even if it involves policy by government, then we put in a word and get a sense of the feedback of investors. So for us now, we are very much interested in feedback, difficulties being faced, frustrations being faced, and expectations of investors of Ghana government in terms of policy and policy implementation. And one of my major challenges has always been is now, what is it that is expected of government of Ghana for us to attract more FDIs from the United Kingdom, particularly in sectors that will open up markets for Ghanaian goods in the UK. Thank you, Ajoba. In brief, that's what I have to say as my introductory remark.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Our next speaker is Mrs. Kate Abiu, the Deputy CEO in charge of finance and administration at the Ghana Free Zones Authority. So,
a very good evening to Madam Panelists, Your Excellency, Mr. Kobia, and our audience. For us as an organization, it's a great privilege to be part of the first in the series. My boss, Ambassador Mike Okwe, prepared and had wanted to be part of this evening's engagement, but unfortunately, he's out of the jurisdiction, so he presents his apologies. My name is Kate Abiu, as already mentioned. Yes, Ghana Free Zones Authority is a very key government agency which works under the auspices of the Ministry of Trade, charged with the responsibility to drive economic development and also regulate the free zones regime. I have a very short PowerPoint, and Madam Moderator, with your kind permission, I want to share my screen. It is indeed short, so we get more time for the questioning session. Yes. I'll touch basically on our incentives and tariff regime, the opportunities available, the procedures, and of course we have registered very enviable success stories of Ghana and UK engagement with respect to partnerships between Ghanaians and UK. And I would present a list. I'll seek to present that list as well. This would be the outline of my presentation. I would touch on the framework, the incentives, areas of operation. We have our priority sectors. I'll run through our priority sectors, our fees, the land banks and export processing zones available, our application procedure, and then share the list with my distinguished audience. Ghana Free Zones Authority was established by an act of parliament, the Free Zones Act in 1995, with the mandate to, first of all, regulate activities within the free zones. We are also seized with the mandate to facilitate investment into free zones, and we also promote investment. Some of the facilitation that we do relates to the services that we provide. Even before the companies join us, we have the mandate to assist them in procuring other permits and licenses. And typically, any fresh project would require something like an EPA permit. We work together with other state agencies in procuring such permits. We do the hand-holding services. There are times when we even help the enterprises with their legal issues. For immigration, we have a designated immigration unit. All the investors do is to present us with passports of their expatriates, and we do whatever it takes with the Ghana Immigration Service to procure the work and residence permits for the expatriates. The unique thing about Ghana's free zones regime is the ability of our investors to site projects, not necessarily in the designated geographical free zone areas. We license single factory entities, single factory enterprises. What this means is that the whole of Ghana technically is a free zone area. We are flexible enough to allow the investors to site projects within the catchment zone of their raw materials. That is why we have the likes of Blue Skies and others who have cited projects close to where they source their raw materials. Apart from that, we ensure that we project whatever activities that our investors are engaged in so that they are pushed and incentivized to process goods and services for export. Companies that we have licensed by law have to export at least 70% of what they annually produce. And for doing that, we have a lot of incentives, the fiscal incentives and the non-fiscal incentives. Companies who are free zone entities enjoy a tax holiday of 10 years and thereafter pay 15%. They are also exempted from direct and indirect taxes. They don't suffer withholding taxes. And there is no requirement for the shareholding structure to be a mixture of, Ghanaians and foreigners. Foreigners can own 100% in any free zone project, but I'm happy to say that we have a lot of partnerships between Ghanaians and foreigners. The Act mandates Free Zones Authority to issue 4 different kinds of licenses. We have the service license, we have the developer's license, the manufacturing license, and commercial and warehousing license. But fortunately for us, more than 80% of the companies that we have licensed are into value addition, manufacturing. This slide, I have projected our priority sectors in this slide. We welcome investors who would add value to our rich agro products. In terms of horticulture, yes, we know Ghana has very important tropical fruits. We are also projecting pharmaceutical companies, and we've received quite a considerable number of investors who are in producing pharmaceuticals. Ghana has a high reputation within the West African sub-region. So a lot of our investors who have projects in this subsector have used Ghana as their base, and they are exporting to the other ECOWAS countries. We have a lot of land banks, so we welcome people who have money to partner us in developing our land banks. We are also key on welcoming investors who would process fish, seafood. We have a couple of them. We have a lot of investors from the EU who are processing tuna for the European markets. And the textile and apparel manufacturing subsector is also picking up. We have key players who are producing sweatpants, sweaters for clients in US, and we welcome UK investors to exploit this opportunity. We also noted for our ethnic beauty products, the oils, shea butter, moringa. So we have companies that are processing and extracting oil from seeds for their clients abroad. The ICT subsector is also picking up. We have companies that have projects in Ghana and using ICT to service their clients abroad. Most of the companies that we've licensed are into business process outsourcing. And as we all know, Ghana is growing into a key player in the assembling of vehicles in Africa. So I think we have the appetite to receive more investments in this subsector. And this is the scale of our fees. Those into manufacturing pay a license fee of $3,000. Those in service, same. For commercial, they pay $10,000 US, and the developers pay $5,000 US. I think earlier on I made reference to our land banks. We have over 1,000 acres near Kumasi, specifically in Buankra, near the inland port project. We welcome any investor who will partner us in developing this land bank. And our flagship project, the Tema Export Processing Zone, is also there, but is virtually full. So we are looking at our other land banks. We have more than 3,000 acres in Shama and another 2,200 acres in Sekendi near Takrady. Our procedure for registration is very simple. all a company, a promoter has to do is to incorporate a company in Ghana, and you purchase an application form for $200. You could pay the city equivalent, submit a business plan or a feasibility study, EPA permits, and prove that you have funding to implement your lofty ideas in your business plan. And because free zones is exporting orientation, we require our investors to show proof of their export market and evidence of your location. It could be a sublease, a rental of any space in any part of Ghana, and any other documents that the board may require. And for existing projects who build their export markets and are in the position to migrate to free zones, we require other documents such as their tax clearance and social security clearance certificates. I have projected a list of businesses licensed under free zones with UK interest. We have the likes of Blue Skies, Airways Catering Limited, Golden Exotics, and the list goes on, about 16 of them. So we are happy to engage. I'm ready to attempt answering your questions. And we believe that Ghana is the best investment destination in Ghana. And once any project is exporting orientation, the investor, the promoter will fare best under our free zones regime. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Abiel. That has been quite an extensive overview of the work at the Ghana Free Zones Authority. And I believe that in our audience, there'll be several questions that people will be itching to ask. I would entreat that if you have a question, feel free to post it in the Q&A box. And once we are done with the introductory remarks and the presentations, we will dive straight into the question and answer session. Our third speaker is Mr. Korea Doju, founder of Egality Law. Egality Law, I'm proud to say, is a platinum member of our chamber. And so I'm delighted to be hosting Korea today. Korea, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ajoba, and Your Excellency. Great to see you again, Kate. We've worked on various projects together. Very nice to see you. I think it's actually sometimes a blessing in disguise when the deputy is able to take the floor in an event like this, because you've got the longevity and the history of the organization. You're really at the coalface of the operation. And I know for a fact that you're very accessible when free zone companies need assistance, and you're responsive, and notwithstanding your seniority, that's something that's very attractive about the organization. Yes, thank you, Ajoba, for introducing me. I'm a lawyer of 22 years, both UK and Ghanaian qualified. I'm the head of a firm called Egality Law. We're ranked by the Legal 500. We act and are registered both in the UK and Ghana. We're lawyers for a number of free zone companies, including Blue Skies. We've advised Golden Exotics, and we were instrumental in setting up an association of free zone enterprises in Ghana, which has been very effective at engaging with the Free Zones Authority on issues of common interest. And all I'm going to do in my introductory remarks is just pose a few observations of my own experience of working with the Free Zone Authority. I think it's a hugely attractive institution for foreign investors. There are major tax incentives, of course, a 10-year tax holiday, as Kate has mentioned, but also very powerful tools such as the ability to freely expatriate your profits from your business, and indeed to get support from the Free Zones Authority as you set up and as you establish your business across Ghana. And my experience of the Free Zones Authority is that, as I say, it's very efficient. It's a modern institution, and it does engage really effectively with its companies. I guess my first observation is to ask whether the Free Zone Authority is an ally to free zone companies or a regulator of free zone companies. And sometimes there is a little bit of a blurring of lines about that relationship. And actually that led to the setting up of the Association of Free Zone Enterprises. Because I think it's a difficult line to tread to ensure that companies are compliant with the free zone rules and policing that, whilst also purporting to be a representative or a supporting organization for these companies as they do business in Ghana. And perhaps there could be some clarity in defining that role. I'm interested to see that the application process is actually very efficient. I think once you've put in all your documents, Free Zones will give you an answer within 28 days, which is very, very impressive. We have some challenges with public institutions in Ghana at the moment in relation to the pricing of services. I think free zones should be attractive to foreign investors, not only of the major multinational scale, but startups as well. And maybe this is something we'll come back to in more detail later. But charging $3,000, $5,000 for an application to join the free zones, it can be daunting for a startup organization. And then lots of young Ghanaian and foreign backed startups looking to build businesses in Ghana and export. I remember talking to a British gin distiller not too long ago, who does a very quaint and specialized gin variety in the UK, fantastically branded, the types of gins which are infused with fruit flavorings, etc. And he wants to come and do that in Ghana, but on a very small scale, and purely for export back to the UK market, where a gin like Akpateshi with fruit flavorings would be probably a very good selling product. But he was deterred by some of the costs involved in setting up as a small enterprise. What do we think about what's happening in Ghana in relation to the clampdown on pricing, advertising, and costing in foreign exchange? And if what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, why is it that public institutions can price in foreign exchange, but Ghanaian companies cannot, or companies operating in Ghana cannot? And it's not just Free Zones who quote in dollars, but the Registrar General and various other institutions charge very substantial fees. GIPC may be another one, in dollars. And as we'll have seen in the media in the last couple of weeks, there's been a very terrifying announcement by Bank of Ghana that there will be a clampdown on advertising, pricing, and invoicing or receipting in foreign exchange. Now, if that is what the government policy is for companies and individuals operating in Ghana, that should be the rule also for public authorities. And if not, I think it's a very important thing that should be explained, and the rationale behind having a different rule is something that really ought to be clarified. A few other points. I have had the benefit of speaking to some operators in the free zones to understand what their recent experiences are. And there are challenges in Tema with the sort of setup of the enclave. My understanding is that actually the infrastructure there really needs some significant upgrade. The roads are not what they should be. The traffic arrangements are a problem. The toll system is really inefficient and slow. And there are problems with the supply of water, which, whilst as a problem across certainly the Accra region, if you're trying to operate a manufacturing business for exports and you have difficulties obtaining supply of water, that's clearly going to be a very big problem for you. And then I think that I'll just come back to the foreign exchange issue when looking in more detail at the Free Zones Act itself. As I said, one of the real attractions of the Free Zone Act is the ability to repatriate in freely convertible currency your profits from your business. And the Free Zone Act also guarantees the entitlement of companies to operate foreign exchange accounts in Ghana. So again, with this clampdown on foreign exchange, how does that work and how does that interplay as between the Foreign Exchange Act, which imposes such restrictions, and the Free Zones Act, which gives significant freedoms in relation to foreign exchange? It'll be very interesting to hear some comments on that. And I think at that point, I'll probably pause and discuss some other issues later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Korea. I think you've already thrown the challenge by asking several questions in your presentation. So, Mrs. Abio, you have your work cut out for you already. I believe there's a question in the Q&A box about what free zones means. It was actually defined by His Excellency in his opening remarks, but I will throw that to Mrs. Abio to answer that for our audience, for those who don't know what the free zones refers to. Sorry, you're on mute.
Hello. Madam Moderator, thank you for giving me the opportunity once again. And I must add that His Excellency was at one time our board chairman, so he's very familiar with our operations, and he helped us in bringing on board quite a number of companies when he acted as our board chair. A free zone area, simply put, is a designated zone where investors are giving incentives to process and export. And I refer to some of the incentives. But for Ghana, we do not restrict the enjoyment of these incentives to only those who are within the designated free zone areas. For us, we pay a lot of premium to the export orientation of the business. So you could cite your project in your hometown, and once you are exporting 70% of what you annually produce, you would still qualify and be issued with a free zone area. But the rationale is to cut down on bureaucratic processes at the airports. So companies that operate under us have a lot of leverage when it comes to clearance of their goods. Already, they do not even pay duties on their imports. Their containers are not opened at the port. They have designated custom officers within their premises. So yes, cutting down on bureaucratic processes, incentivizing the investors to produce for export. These are some of the things that distinguish us from other companies, but the word is generic, and very soon Ghana itself would be migrating to special economic zones. I think it is the right time to make this public.
Thank you. Thank
and
you,
if
Kate.
You could permit me to address some of the issues that Korea raised. In fact, I have a tall list. He made reference to our ability to regulate and facilitate, and it has never been easy. As a regulator, we ought to ensure that the companies actually utilize whatever they clear duty-free, it's channeled to production. And they also meet the export threshold. So we have a compliance department, And we are also assisted by stakeholder institutions such as customs in implementing this policing regime. We also have a very efficient corporate affairs division, which handles the aftercare. Of course, for most of the clients that we work with, they are foreigners, especially the startups. They come and they find the terrain a bit challenging, and we position ourselves to handhold them, do a lot of the legwork for them, so they are cushioned and concentrate on production. We've had a challenge with a few of the companies, but by and large, most of them are compliant. And I must add that our UK companies are one of most of the companies are always compliant, and they produce. And Blue Skies, for instance, at one point in Ghana's history, was the highest employer. So we are proud of our UK enterprises. Mr. Correa also touched on Bank of Ghana regulations in respect to Forex. Free zone entities are exempted from the application of the foreign exchange regulations and rules. We have specific provisions in our Act, and I think Mr. Correa even made reference to these provisions, exempting the companies from the application. And we fix our fees in dollars because, unlike most of the enterprises that operate within the National Customs Territory who earn in cedis, our companies earn in dollars. They earn dollars. They repatriate their export proceeds. So their medium of exchange is, in fact, hard currency. That is the rationale for specifying and quoting our fees in dollars. But we are also very flexible. We receive payments in cedis as well. I think there was also another issue he raised with respect to infrastructure at the Tema Export Processing Zone. That is very true, but fortunately for us, with support from our ministry and other donor agencies, we are upgrading the infrastructure. We are upgrading the roads at the Tema Export Processing Zone. And in fact, we will be constructing new ones. So in about 6 months, Mr. Correa's clients would call him and attest to what I'm asserting. We have, as we speak, very close to hiring a contractor to move to site. So that challenge would be a thing of the past. I must admit that we have challenges with water, but we have done something, and there were some parts of the export processing zone which had serious problems with water. My CEO has addressed that concern, and we are in constant engagement with Ghana Water Company to ensure that our entities are provided with water at all times. We actually have a dedicated water storage infrastructure. So once there is that regular supply of water, we have what it takes even to store water for a very long time. But of course, Ghana Water Company would tell you that they have issues with supply and demand, but we are doing our best to solve that problem. Mr. Correa, have I done justice to your questions?
I think it's yes, you have indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, the only observation I have is when you were talking about fees and you said flexible, I was actually going to release my breath and say, oh, good, people can pay in installments. I didn't say that.
Oh yes, it is true, Madam Moderator. There are times when the companies approach us and even with their annual subscription and negotiate for installment payments, particularly after COVID.
Yeah, because it's a comment that we've received on Facebook as well from Kojo Ewusi, who also wanted to touch on this, the startup cost being a deterrent to young entrepreneurs. You know, so obviously it's a very important point. There's okay, I think there's a something in the chat box also regarding the same thing. Yeah, please address questions related to small businesses and how they can engage with your facility in an affordable way. It's coming from Salibo in the audience. So obviously it's a very important question, bugging the minds of a lot of people, you know. So maybe you can take it back and see what you can do about it. I would like to bring Your Excellency into the conversation at this point, you know, addressing our UK audiences with regards to how your office can assist and also handhold potential investors into Ghana who are looking to invest in the free zones enclaves. So over to you, Your Excellency.
Oh, thank you, Ajoba. But just regarding the small businesses, you know, we always have to weigh between opening a very wide door for others who may not necessarily have the capacity to benefit from the free zones, to take advantage of free zone from the beginning. So for small businesses, I will encourage them to start on a small scale before you move into the free zone, because there are other benefits to with doing business outside the free zone, even though the free zone basically is for export. But as coming to your question, Madam Moderator, we do a lot, except that in the UK, I've noticed that people prefer going directly to Ghana rather than asking questions of the mission. But at a certain point in time, I've even had to encourage the trade representative to go with a good group of businessmen, investors into Ghana. I personally have intervened in respect of investors having problems speaking directly to ministers, etc., etc. The only thing I would want to add is that it is important that in getting all these things done, we try and deal with those who are qualified. I mean, if you are going to invest in the free zones, it's better you engage a lawyer or a consultant who knows what he's doing, rather than going through other people who may tell you that, oh, I can do something for you, facilitate it. That's a lot of these things happen. But increasingly, I'm realizing that, well, now people want to deal with those who are licensed or qualified to hold hands. And I agree to that sometimes the bureaucracy is daunting, but I can confirm that when it comes to the free zones, you don't have that much bureaucracy preventing people from doing their business at the right time.
Ajoba, a couple of comments, if I may.
Yeah, thank you, Excellency. Korea, before I come to you, just one more question for His Excellency, before I come to you. So, in the same vein, continuing in the same vein, there was a question about business people and the requirements for getting visas to come to Ghana. And for people who are frequent business travelers to Ghana, they want to know when we are going to have visa reform so that the process can be made easier for them, because it's easier to visit other African countries such as South Africa and a few others.
Well, I'm surprised at this, because I think our visa regime is probably one of the easiest. We operate a 24-hour visa service. And even as I'm speaking, from Tuesday, we're going to have different categories of visas, except that I would wish that we could give visas for multiple visas for many more years. But basically, the visa regime, I think, is very, 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 very simple. Very simple. When they talk about difficulties, I don't understand it, because I know that people have been talking about visa on arrival, for instance, which is not something that Ghana operates and which we do not encourage, because it is easy to get a visa to Ghana from the UK. Far easier than it is to get a visa to UK from Ghana, even from a businessman. So I dare say that we are trying as much as possible to improve upon the visa regime and make it more convenient. But Ajoba can get a visa within 24 hours. You can get a visa within 24 hours. And for someone who is a frequent visitor, a business person, the only challenge you may face, as I said, is that you may not have a visa for a multiple visa for 3 years or 4 years. But certainly we will improve upon the process. The other thing apropos to this is the problem of having a one-stop shop. For instance, when you go to Ghana and you want to deal with whatever, you're an investor, you deal with immigration, you deal with all the permits. If you need an EPA permit, you deal with them at one stop. That has been something that has been a challenge over the years, which I know is something that we are working at. However, the good thing is that, like the free zones, if you go and you need assistance, there are people who will assist you get permits and other licenses from other agencies apart from free zone itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's reassuring to know that there are reforms in the works, and that you can indeed get a visa within 24 hours. So that's very good to know. Thank you very much. And yes, indeed, there are institutions such as the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce that's here to assist potential investors into Ghana. And we have member companies like Egality Law that provides assistance. So if you actually need help with market entry services into Ghana, we are just a phone call away, or you can visit our website and find our contact information and reach out to us. I will now move over to Courier. Courier, you had something that you wanted to ask. Go ahead, and then we'll come back to the questions from the audience.
Yes, thank you so much, Ajoba. And it's to pick up on a comment from His Excellency just now. And I think, you know, one does agree that certainly not all businesses are appropriate for a free zone. And a free zone is a fairly sophisticated setup, and it's not going to be appropriate for all scales of business. But of course, there is a difference between a small business and a startup. And I guess one of the experiences I'm seeing is that for a startup, which may be actually quite a significant investment in terms of their longer term business plan, some of the initial hurdles can be a real challenge. It's really interesting to hear what you say about the facilitating role of the authority and how they can assist to obtain other types of permits. I've actually been dealing with a situation just in the last couple of weeks where someone wants to set up a factory in Ghana. They've got their funding. They're very significantly funded. And they want, as a first step and an early step, to get free zone accreditation, of course, because of the wonderful tax benefits that they'll enjoy and also the free movement of foreign currency. But one of the hurdles they are facing is that there's an insistence on a factory lease and an environmental protection agency permit. And of course, at an early stage of an investment, that's going to be almost impossible to get until you've actually got, bricks on the ground. So I guess it's a comment, but maybe also a question for Kate. When you say that there is flexibility, just how much flexibility there? It's great to hear that you can get installment payments for the fees. I don't actually think the fees are extortionate, but of course, for a smaller business, they would be. And how much flexibility is there in terms of the timing, the calibration of when you get things like the EPA permit, when you have to show your factory lease, etc.? Can you get your free zone accreditation and license before you've got those particular additional regulatory licenses? So that's the first question. And the second one just comes back to the whole foreign exchange issue. I honestly don't think it's as simple as to say that the free zones are exempt from the Foreign Exchange Act. I know that's what the law says, but actually what we found in the past is that Customs and Excise don't really understand or feign a misunderstanding of free zones, and actually can make things extremely difficult for free zone companies looking to export. And there have been instances in the past, I think you might recall the letter of credit regime that suddenly Customs sought to impose. I don't want to bore everyone with the technical details of that particular issue, but Customs and Excise imposed some restrictions on exports on free zone companies, literally overnight, without any consultation at all. And it was a business critical issue for a number of companies. So to what extent can we be sure that the confidence we have in the law is understood, and how much engagement is free zones having with Bank of Ghana, who also sometimes take a rather rigid view, or with Customs, to ensure that they really understand the freedom of this regime, and some things like the foreign exchange notice, which has just been issued, don't get misapplied to the detriment of free zones companies. And then I think finally, it's really just to look to the future. Not too long ago, a couple of years ago, the former CEO announced a raft of potential amendments to the Free Zones Act, not all of which were favorable at all to free zone companies. And so my final question is there still an intention to amend the Free Zones Act and to impose greater restrictions on companies, or have those amendments been happily kicked into the long grass? I will ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Kate, you're really being put on the spot here, but I believe that these are questions that all of your free zone member companies would be interested in having answers to. So would really appreciate it if you could address Corey's questions, and then we'll come back to the questions from the audience. Kate.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Yes, we have a very good working relationship with Mr. Corey, so it's all well and good. He wants the best for our authority, so we appreciate his concerns. He's a very good friend. Yes, Mr. Corey, you made reference to the challenges that startups face with complying with our processes. And you mentioned the EPA permits. We actually have a designated desk within EPA. So you might not get the full report, but just a comfort letter will do. So I'm not too sure why you have this challenge. If you could probably refer your client to us, we would be happy to assist. The requirement to show proof that the investor has a business premises to operate on is key. Because of the tax incentives that our companies enjoy, we want to be very sure that their projects are viable and indeed they are serious. And I think for any serious investor, once you take that investment decision to operate within the free zones regime, particularly when you have that flexibility to either site your project outside the designated free zone areas or find a lease anywhere in Ghana, it will be very difficult convincing us that yes, you have the funding, but you cannot even show proof that you have rented a warehouse for a 6-month duration. It is key that we visit the site and inspect and satisfy ourselves that the goods that you'll be bringing in duty-free would be secured enough. There will not be any smuggling, and you would have a place to even accommodate the resident customs officer. So with the other requirements, yes, we could come to terms, but I think it is important that with proof of ownership of property, we attach a lot of relevance to that because of the implication. I'm happy to announce that, yes, we have a good working relationship with stakeholders like GEPA and customs. I recall years back when customs used to issue directives without, the required due consultation, but you would also bear witness that for about 5 years running, we've not had those challenges. With Bank of Ghana, years back, there was a directive, but we quickly moved in and got the officers to table, and they addressed the concerns of free zone enterprises. And thereafter issued another directive and publicized it, and the content specifically addressed what was relevant for the operations of free zones. What you have said gives us an alert. We would quickly engage Bank of Ghana so we don't have a repetition of what we experienced some years back. Thank you. I hope I have done justice once again to your questions.
Well, I'm sure if not, you will hear from Korea. So, yeah.
It's only the only one was the question of amendment of the Act and whether there's any current intention.
Of the Act. I think any amendment would seek to make life more comfortable for the free zones enterprises that are already on our list, and to courting and also to courting more free zone entities. And as I alluded to earlier on in my presentation, the Ministry of Trade, our sector ministry, is even helping us to expand our scope. So we may well move into special economic zones, and the reach would be wider than the niche export-oriented free zone scheme that we are operating now. I think there was another question from the audience, why we fix our fees and the consequence of it being a disincentive to the youth. There are other state agencies such as Ghana Export Promotion Authority. They deal with the youth. In fact, as we speak, they have a program for for the youth in exports. They do a lot of product development, market research. So in most cases, we receive referrals from GEPA. So if you really need grooming as a startup, a small startup business, I would advise that you contact our sister agency, Ghana Export Promotion Authority. They have what it takes to groom you so that when you develop the muscles to export, you are handed over to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. It's like you read the mind of Rasmond Anyina, who had actually asked the question about the functional relationship between Free Zones Authority and the Ghana Export Promotion Authority on Facebook, because we are on Facebook Live as well on the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce channel. At this juncture, I would like to take a break and hear from our sponsors. Tap, send no fee money transfer to Ghana. So Paul, let's take a break now, and then when we come back, we'll address all the other questions that have come through.
Tap, and send. It's okay. Go. Let me speak to my people. Now, let me speak to you. I know the stress people go through when they want to send money from abroad to their family members and loved ones in Ghana and even Africa. See, if you are in the USA, if you are in London, UK, Canada, Europe, any part of the world, see, Tap Send has made it very easy. All you have to do is to tap and send. Within a twinkle of an eye, your money will be sent with no stress. It's very fast, convenient, and easy to access everywhere. What are you waiting for? Just tap and send. Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Right, welcome back. I would like to add that apart from being live on the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce Facebook channel, we are also live on the Chamber YouTube channel. And after the session ends, we will be posting a recording later on our YouTube channel. So you can tell anybody that missed this session live that they can watch a playback of it on our YouTube channel. At this juncture, I think I would like to go back to the chat box to see, I think there's a question about, oh my God, so many questions coming through. There's a question from Antoinette that says, can imported raw products be processed in the free zones? That's yes, if it's going to be 70% for export. Leslie Kane is asking, we talk about encouraging manufacturing / industry. With every manufacturing process, there are hazards. In Ghana, we have safety advisors, but occupational health does not appear on any agenda. We must not allow our investors to cause work-related illnesses, noise-induced hearing loss, life-changing injuries to our people. Workers can inhale poisonous fumes, may be exposed to lead, carcinogenic elements. Oh my goodness, these words, all sorts of injuries, some of these ending their careers. When would we include basic occupational health as a mandatory requirement? I will let Your Excellency speak to that, and then Kate will also add her voice.
Well, thank you. I mean, we have all these things. For instance, this is what is supposed to be done by the labor officers, all right, Ministry of Employment. Of course, it's not as developed as we have in the UK, and the monitoring, it is not as good as we would want, but we have it, and now it's something that with development in manufacturing and then development in labor relations and the rights of workers, government is improving upon, but it does exist.
Thank you very much. And yes, I can attest to that it does exist. And we find that they're very, very high standards, particularly amongst the large corporates. And it cuts across industries, so I can attest to that and reassure you that it does. What we need to do is to encourage particularly the smaller businesses to try and maintain high standards. And we would also like to encourage the regulatory authorities to ensure that monitoring and compliance is done as Excellency mentioned. Kate, is there anything you'd like to add in addition to what His Excellency has just spoken about?
Yes, Madam Moderator. It is part of our requirements that all the projects that we license conform to the Factories, Offices and Shops Act. That is why for us, even before a project is licensed, we have a team that does the inspection. Quite recently, I was part of such an undertaking, and we ensured that there were enough windows. The ventilation was just perfect for that kind of operation before the project was given the green light, before the project was licensed. And we have a dedicated compliance and monitoring department. They pay site visits periodically to all the entities that we license. In fact, we do not want to pretend over sweatshops. So most of the multinationals that we are working with now, some of them provide the best working environment that you could find in Ghana. And the evidence is there. Visit Blue Skies. They have such a fantastic policy, corporate social responsibility policy. They have clinics within their premises. With the nurses at hand, they provide the best form of canteen services that you would find in any corporate institution. And the list is endless. Go to Barry Calibo, go to Nage, and you would love to work in such entities. Of course, there are few that do not comply, and we have our own way of sanctioning such enterprises. Thank you.
That's very reassuring, Kate. Thank you for emphasizing that. I think that we would like to hear final words from all of our speakers. This time around, I think I'll start with Korea and end with, oh my goodness, a question has come through. Let me ask this question and then we can hear the final words because I think it's relevant. So Sally has been quite prolific with her comments and questions. She wants to know whether charities and non-profits can also benefit from the free zone scheme. Kate.
Our requirement is that you incorporate a project. So I think the Registrar General's department has the various categorization. So if it would be a project which would be export in orientation, it could be registered for such, just that you would plow back your profits into worthwhile activities. I think it would be fantastic. We don't have any as yet. We have some of the investors who are very ethical. A few of our investors are very ethical, but they still declare profits. It would be nice to engage you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. So whilst you're still on the floor, would like to hear your final words, and then we'll move to Korea.
I think Ghana is endowed with resources, be it agro-tropical fruits, the minerals, and fortunately for us, we have the skills. Ghanaians are really talented. We invest in our education. So any investor who is looking at the sub-region should consider Ghana. All the right boxes you could tick. We are very peaceful, stable, and of course, we have entities such as Ghana Free Zones Authority with the experts who would handhold you to implement your project. So when you are looking beyond your horizon, I encourage you to look at Ghana. And once you are in Ghana, please pass by our offices. We will be very happy to engage you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. Korea, your final words.
Well, I endorse everything Kate has said. The environment is, extraordinarily promising in Ghana to come in as an investor and set up for manufacturing, given the employability of the workforce, the resources available, a stable business environment, and clients of mine like Blue Skies are really proof that this is the case, and have been operating in Ghana for decades, and are the proof is in the pudding, or shall I say the proof is in the fruit that they produce and export. And I'm sitting in London at the moment, just off the Marylebone Road. If I walk down Baker Street, I can pop into Tesco or Waitrose and look on the shelf and see Blue Skies ice cream made in Ghana. And that fills one with immense pride. It's got pride of place on the shelves, and it's competing with products from all over the world. And these types of companies are actually using Ghana as a hub to import products from other countries, to process, to extract from Ghana, using the Ghanaian workforce, and then exporting to the rest of the world, top quality manufactured goods. We can do it, and we are doing it. And I think, as the questions I've asked demonstrate, there are challenges. There is a need for these types of companies to be supported fearlessly, and they should be celebrated. And when they do face challenges like people trying to eat away at their tax incentives, which are well calibrated, they're balanced, they're fair. A tax holiday is going to deny the country revenue, but it only exists for a short period, relatively speaking, and it encourages investment. So these types of things should be upheld and respected. And it would be great to see more of the free zones supporting such companies like they're already doing, but not deterring such companies from operating in Ghana, because some of the challenges that have been faced do become existential. And there are interesting opportunities in other West African countries, which we must acknowledge. The Ivory Coast or across in other Francophone countries, they have very favorable business terrains as well. So we need to celebrate the regime we have, but we also need to fiercely protect it and encourage the growth of this sector, because manufacturing and value-added products are really going to be a game changer for Ghana's economy. So I think it's excellent that we have Kate and His Excellency, with his huge experience as a board chairman of Free Zones, here to talk about these issues. And hopefully it's shown that there's a great opportunity here, and I can definitely attest to that. Thank you.
What an amazing testimonial from Korea on behalf of his clients. We've heard Blue Skies being used as a great example several times tonight. And I'm proud to say that Blue Skies is a member of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, and the founder and chairman, Anthony Powell, is my board chairman and my boss. So it's something that we are proud of. We have a few other free zones companies within our fold as well, who are also exporting to the UK, and we're very proud of the work that they're doing. And to add to what Korea said, they're really, really big and good corporate citizens who are contributing a lot to the economy and also supporting the communities in which they operate. But today it's a conversation with Papa Owusu-Ankomah, His Excellency the Ghana High Commissioner to the UK and Republic of Ireland. And since it's his night, I'm going to give him the opportunity to speak now and say his final words.
Right. Thank you very much, Ajoba. And I want to say that, well, I've also been reassured as Ghana's representative. Kate has done excellently, and she's on top of her brief. And with her and others like her at the free zones, I'm sure that those who are interested in investing in Ghana through that channel will not have too many problems. And thank you, Korea, for your contribution. I mean, this also demonstrates to us that we have Ghanaians who have global exposure and who have the, let's say, the technical wherewithal to support investors from the United Kingdom and elsewhere who would want to invest in Ghana. And I must say that as Ghana High Commission, I mean, we place a lot of premium on encouraging investors to move into Ghana and to also know the challenges they are facing. I mean, Korea, you've raised a lot of issues relating to the free zones, and I'm going to pick it up with the relevant ministers, etc. And for us in the UK, we have a UK Ghana Business Council that meets twice a year, once in London, once in Accra every year, co-chaired by the Vice President and a Minister of the UK government, to try and see how best we can deepen the relationship between UK and Ghana when it comes to trade and investment. But I'm looking forward to a time where the balance of trade will change substantially, significantly, where we have more exports of Ghanaian products coming into the United Kingdom. And I know that the UK government also has a facility to support UK investors who want to engage in business in Ghana to be able to have the necessary financial wherewithal to do so. And to the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Ajoba, congratulations on the good work that you are doing. I always say that I know that instinctively Ghanaians would want to do business with UK. I mean, because apart from the cultural ties, we have so many Ghanaians who are also UK citizens and know the terrain of both countries. So I urge all of us to work together to promote UK-Ghana business relations. And I'm confident that in the very, very near future, ours will be a classic case of collaboration between nations, one from the north, one from the south, that will be a template for other countries. So, Ajuba, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You've articulated it succinctly. I don't think there's much that I can add. We're very, very grateful for your patronage, and we are looking forward to the next session on 30th June, where we shall continue the conversation around attracting FDIs into Ghana and how the Ghana High Commission can support foreign investors from particularly the UK into Ghana. Thank you very much once again, Your Excellency, and also to Mrs. Kate Abiu from the Ghana Free Zones Authority and Mr. Korea Joju from Equality Law. You've shared great insights on the key initiatives and opportunities in Ghana for foreign investors. We've discussed how the Ghana Free Zones Authority and the Ghana High Commission can support businesses with a smooth foreign into Ghana for their investments and also drive economic growth in Ghana. We've also discussed the various components of the Free Zones Act, Act 504, and the Free Zones Amendment Act, Act 618. Korea has articulated very clearly the great work that Free Zones companies have found that the Free Zones Authority is doing, but he's also articulated clearly some of the challenges that they face. And given that he himself has praised the working relations between his clients and the Free Zones authorities, we know that those challenges will be addressed, and he will come back and give a positive testimonial to our listeners and to potential businesses looking to invest in Ghana. We hope that our intention of providing an open forum for questions, discussions, experience, and knowledge sharing has been met. And we would like to once again thank Your Excellency and the Ghana High Commission in the UK, and also Dr. Michael Quay Jr. and Mrs. Kate Abiu and the Ghana Free Zones Authority for joining us today and being the first guest to His Excellency in the first of the 4-part series of conversations. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Korea Joju, founder of Equality Law, for joining us to also share his experiences and to speak on behalf of his clients who are Free Zones companies in Ghana. Korea, your experiences and contribution to this conversation is invaluable, and we cannot thank you enough. I would like to conclude by thanking our sponsor, TapTapSend, and they are the sponsor for the 4-part conversation series. And I would also like to entreat our audience to join us for the next session on June 30th, when we will be hosting His Excellency once again, and also possibly guests from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center to discuss similar topic on how the GIPC can assist potential investors. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Tap, and send. It's okay. Go. Let me speak to my people. Now, let me speak to you. I know the stress people go through when they want to send money from abroad to their family members and loved ones in Ghana and even in Africa. See, if you are in the USA, if you are in London, UK, Canada, Europe, any part of the world, see, TapTapSend has made it very easy. All you have to do is to tap and send. Within a twinkle of an eye, your money will be sent with no stress. It's very fast, convenient, and easy to access everywhere. What are you waiting for? Just tap, and send. Download TapTapSend now on Google Play and App Store. TapTapSend. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.